Welcome to this educational module, Setting Goals, Your Focus on Success. After completing this module, you will be able to, first, articulate one attainable personal goal and one attainable academic goal. Second, you will draft a strategic plan connecting the two goals with your major. Our goal in this module is to equip you to set your own goals. As we proceed, you will come to see goals as building blocks of your success. Once you begin to think in terms of achieving goals, you will be able to develop and improve your own methods and procedures to attain them. To assist in this, we shall introduce you to the focus method for setting goals and help you integrate these goals into your academic major. Why are goals important? Goals are essential to success. They are the result of your dedication and persistence. A goal may be defined as the focal point or objective of your effort. For example, in many sports, achieving a goal is the mission of each player and team. It unites the players and provides them direction and purpose. In some sports, goals have different names. Touchdowns in football, home runs in baseball, etc., yet they serve essentially the same function. All the resources of the team, equipment, uniforms, staff, coaches, etc., are directed toward achieving goals. Goals can require great sacrifices, but they can also bring great rewards. Many of you have watched or even participated in sports victories. Whether it be the Stanley Cup in hockey, the World Series in baseball, the Super Bowl in football, or any other competition, the thrill and joy of the winning team is evident as they hold up their trophies and congratulate each other. The successful teams experience happiness, confidence, and victory. Not all goals are competitive in nature, but they still bring a thrill of success. When you attain your goals, you become a winner and can move to further victories. Goals are the focus of our efforts, but how do we create goals? The focus method can help us formulate and set individual goals. We've organized a simple acronym to help remember the 5 steps. Formulate, organize, commit, update, and situate. As we examine each step, we shall attempt to identify and avoid potential problems that can hinder the formulation of attainable goals. The first step of focus is formulate. When you formulate new goals, it is important to follow some useful guidelines. First, make sure your goal is attainable and practical. You may have a wonderful goal, but if you can't achieve it, then it is useless to you. A main reason that many goals are unrealized is lack of resources. For example, Phil decides he wants to go to Florida next week. However, if he has no transportation, no financial resources, nor sufficient time to travel, this goal cannot be realized. This does not mean that a goal will always be unattainable. Phil's Florida trip may become practical at a later time with the proper resources. Finally, a goal is an investment of your time, energy, and resources. As with all investments, you need to ensure that the result will be worth the effort. Investigate how your goals will contribute to your success and progress. The second step of focus is organize. To achieve any goal, it is important to organize your resources. Failure to do so can result in a number of difficulties. Let us imagine that a man named Jack decides to join a gym in his hometown. His goal is to get in shape within a reasonable period of time. Very quickly, Jack runs into unexpected difficulties. He learns that to achieve his particular fitness goal, he must exercise at least 3 times a week. However, his schedule is nearly full with competing demands. Jack realizes that he will have to devote sufficient time to fitness or abandon his goal. Jack rearranges his schedule and finds that he has sufficient time for an exercise program. However, he discovers that his new program requires fees, purchases, and other financial contributions that he was not prepared to pay. Jack is forced to reallocate his funds and resources to meet these new requirements. Finally, Jack has other priorities. He is a manager of a demanding job, part of a family of 6, and is involved in his community. In each of these areas, he has also set goals. Jack must therefore reprioritize all his obligations and goals in order to include his new fitness regimen. Jack is able to do so successfully because he reorganizes his resources as he formulates his new goals. Organization provides a strong and steady support system for your goals. This is why it must accompany any goal formulation from the outset. The next step in focus is commit. Lack of commitment may be one of the major causes why so many fail at goals. Many people make New Year's resolutions to achieve important goals. How many times have you or your friend failed to achieve these goals? Why? Many times this failure stems from a lack of commitment. Sylvia is enthusiastic about improving her reading skills. She adopts a program to read 12 books within 1 year based on a consistent schedule of daily morning readings. She follows this regularly in both January and February, but by March she finds herself losing focus. She begins to procrastinate and puts off her reading until later in the day or evening. This is workable if she revises her schedule accordingly, but she fails to do this. There is no regularity to when she reads, and her organized system is lost. This unevenness leads her to miss several days at once. She convinces herself she can make up her losses on weekends when she has more time. However, she finds her weekends are full of other demands and opportunities. Without a specific schedule, she is easily distracted, and any systematic plan to read is now lost. After a few more weeks of haphazard readings, Sylvia realizes that she has fallen far behind her original schedule. The staggering amount of material that she has missed depresses her, and she despairs of getting back on track. She tends to ignore the entire reading program until finally she abandons it completely. This story is common to many people every year. January brings bursts of activity: new gym memberships, diets, behavioral changes, financial improvements, and many more. Yet by July, many have abandoned these beneficial programs. Why? Lack of commitment. Once you set your goals, you must commit to them and follow the schedule and policies that you have set for yourself. If you do this, you will improve dramatically the chances of achieving your goals. The fourth step of focus is update. Circumstances alter frequently and for many reasons. This may require significant changes to your goal and its realization. In some cases, you may need only minor modifications. Perhaps you might change your time frame or reallocate some resources. If the change is more drastic, you may need to substantially alter your original goal. Consider the earlier example involving Sylvia's reading program. In this new scenario, Sylvia undertook to read 1 book per month to achieve her goal of reading 12 books in 1 year. It is now the end of June, and Sylvia has successfully completed 6 books. She has remained committed and highly motivated. The entire program has been enjoyable, and she looks forward to the second half of her year with anticipation. At this juncture, Sylvia is delighted to receive a promotion at her business. She finds her new position engaging and rewarding, but also more demanding of her time and energy. In these new circumstances, her reading program is no longer workable. Sylvia enjoys her reading and does not wish to abandon it. She therefore calculates the amount of time she now has to read her books. She finds that she still has 2/3 of her original schedule to devote to her program. This means that she can still read 4 out of the 6 books that remained. She chooses carefully which 4 would benefit her most, and she commits to her new schedule. By the end of the year, Sylvia has read 10 of her original 12 books. Sylvia therefore achieved a promotion and still salvaged the bulk of her original reading goal. Whenever your circumstances change, be flexible and ready to modify your goals accordingly. You will find that you can achieve multiple goals as long as you monitor your situation and adapt successfully. The final step of focus is situate. Few goals are pursued in isolation because our lives are rich and complex. You must situate your individual goals within the larger context of your life. We have seen in our examples how Jack and Sylvia encountered competing demands on their resources and commitment. Many times you will face similar challenges. How do you balance academic goals with personal goals? How do you balance career goals with relationship goals? How do you balance financial goals with leisure goals? If you view life as a tapestry of interrelated goals, you can situate each one properly. The abilities you develop to integrate competing goals will expand as you mature. This is why situate is not just the last focus step, but one of the most important. Later in this module, you will learn how strategic plans can aid you in situating goals. Take some time to review the steps of the focus method. formulate, organize, commit, update, and situate. It is now time to practice setting your own goals. For simplicity, we shall only focus on two types of goals, personal and academic. Personal goals are designed to enhance your life and career. Academic goals relate to your education. In the slides that follow, you will develop one personal goal and one academic goal. As you begin to contemplate personal goals, you will find that you have many options. Some personal goals are truly life goals. They can include major changes in your career, personal lifestyle, or relationships. Such goals may require lengthy commitment and a large contribution from your resources and effort. Most goals are of less magnitude in demands on your time and energy. Recall our example of Phil's vacation. Planning a trip to Florida is usually something one does not do overnight. It usually requires careful preparations. For example, where will you stay in Florida and with whom? How long will you stay there and what itinerary will you follow? What means will you use to travel and what supplies will you need? How costly will the trip be? Can you leave other obligations to work, friends, family, etc.? If so, for how long? Phil's vacation is thus a goal requiring organization, commitment, and prioritization. He gladly undertakes all of this because he is motivated to go to Florida. Jack is motivated to become physically fit, while Sylvia is motivated to read her books. In most cases, motivation is essential to any goal. Some goals are motivational by definition, such as New Year's resolutions. As you choose a personal goal in this module, make sure it is one that will motivate you and engage your interest. Take some time to now formulate a personal goal. As a first attempt, you want to make your first goal practical and relatively simple. Use the suggestions on this slide as guidelines in choosing your goal. Feel free to pause this video until you're ready to proceed. Once you have formulated your goal, apply to it the other focus steps. Make a brief outline or checklist and determine the following. What resources will you need to accomplish this personal goal? Can you commit these resources until the goal is attained? Do you perceive any circumstances that might interfere with this goal? Can you successfully integrate this new goal with your existing priorities? Feel free to modify your initial goal as necessary in answering these questions. Once you are finished, advance to the next slide. Now that you have set your personal goal, you may now formulate an academic goal. Academic goals are broader than your major, though they may certainly interrelate. Although more narrow in scope than personal goals, there are still many options. Imagine that you are a history major, but realize that your computer skills are poor. You may wish to take an introductory course in computer science as an elective. As you continue to fulfill the requirements of your major, your friend tells you of his enjoyment of piano. You decide to take some applied piano courses for 1 credit for personal enjoyment, but within an academic setting. Your girlfriend informs you that she really loves your philosophy class. You take a few courses with her and find that you enjoy them as well. It is not possible for financial or time management reasons to take a second major, and you also do not wish to change majors. You therefore decide to take philosophy as a minor for 18 credits in addition to your major. In all these scenarios, you have added academic goals to your original plans. Your computer science course required only 1 course. You took 2 piano courses for personal enrichment. Your new minor requires much more time and effort. Yet all of these are new goals in an academic setting. Some goals are supplementary to other purposes. You may wish to maintain a good GPA in order to obtain honors when you graduate. Yet this GPA derives from taking particular courses with their own requirements and benefits. Take more time and formulate an attainable and simple academic goal. Once you have formulated this goal, apply the other focus steps to it by creating your checklist or outline. You may use the guidelines set out in the last 3 slides for setting goals. Feel free to once again pause this video until you are ready to proceed. Congratulations! You have now set 2 different types of goals for yourself. We now approach the last part of this learning module. You are going to draft a strategic plan to connect both of your goals to your major. A strategic plan flows from the S in focus, situate. It outlines the process by which you will accomplish your goals. It also provides the means to situate your goals in a larger context. Let us use Phil's trip as yet another example. Imagine Phil decides to drive to Florida. His goal is to spend a week in Orlando. Phil has an older car and does not have GPS. He must therefore rely on the ancient method of using road maps. There are many possible routes he can take to get to Orlando. Phil must plan his trip carefully. While speed and duration of the trip is important, he has to consider other factors. Where will he eat? Can he drive continuously, or will he need to find a hotel for the night? Does he want to visit other landmarks on his way? How he answers these and other questions will determine his route. The map is not the goal, but rather a plan to help him arrive at his goal. This is the concept of a strategic plan. It is truly a roadmap to success. It charts your course to attain your goals that you have set with the focus method. Let us examine this concept more in depth. A strategic plan differs from the focus formulation of goals in several ways. The focus method creates the goal, and the strategic plan implements or executes it. In effect, the focus is the what, and the strategic plan is the how of your goal. More importantly, the strategic plan connects multiple goals. Remember Phil's trip. As a Civil War buff, Phil has always had a desire to visit Gettysburg. Although his primary goal is still Orlando, Phil realizes he has time and resources to include Gettysburg in his travel itinerary. His trip therefore achieves both goals in one trip. If you plan properly, you can also integrate several goals with a good strategic plan. You need now to draft a strategic plan to connect both goals to your major. This can be easy with academic goals since your major is central to your education. For example, a history major can appreciate the history of any academic subject. There's a history of music, a history of philosophy, a history of medicine, and so forth. A philosophy major can examine ethics in medicine, business, crime and justice, etc. An English major can examine the role of literature in any field. It should therefore be very practical to connect your major and academic goal. However, it can take more thought to connect a personal goal to your major. It remains possible to draw such connections even if they are more indirect. Let us revisit our three examples: Jack, Sylvia, and Phil. Sylvia is the easiest model to integrate. Most majors have a vigorous output of scholarly and popular literature to read. Sylvia can easily incorporate at least a few books from her major into her reading program. Phil's scenario was slightly more challenging. While it is easy to integrate historical sites into his vacation, what if his major is art, or nursing, or business? How could these be integrated into a mundane vacation? A little innovation can overcome this. Perhaps as a business major, Phil might wish to visit Wall Street. If he's an art major, he might wish to visit a famous art museum or artistic village. Nursing is more complex, but he might wish to visit a major hospital or hospice. Jack's example is most difficult. How can he relate his major to a fitness regimen? Again, this is not impossible. There is an entire psychology to fitness. Fitness programs operate on business models and have their own economics. There are definitely medical considerations in exercise. In fact, the entire gym experience is a sociological phenomenon. The concept of fitness has interrelated in different ways with art and education. These examples are sufficient to indicate that you can connect goals with your major. Take some time and draft a brief strategic plan connecting your major and two goals. You may refer to the earlier information you used to create these goals. The plan should be relatively brief, a mere outline. Refer to the last slide and explain briefly how your major can assist you in achieving your two goals. Next, create a brief plan or roadmap to achieve these goals. What methods will you use? How long will it take? How will your two goals relate to each other? Finally, make a list of resources you will need to accomplish both goals. You can refer back to the organized steps of each goal for assistance. The reason to revisit your resources is to integrate the requirement of both goals into your plan. you need to ensure that you have sufficient resources for both. Your main objective is not a magnificent or flawless plan. It is to accustom you to mapping out your needs in the form of goals and devising solutions to achieve them. Pause this video until you are done with this step. You have now completed your module on setting goals. The more you work to devise and implement goals, the more experienced and confident you will become. Additionally, you will find that your life becomes more orderly and efficient as you develop plans and contingencies for each goal you formulate. As you increase your success by implementing your goals, you will find you acquire more confidence in yourself and in your plans. Finally, as your life becomes better organized, you will have more time to focus on relationships and activities that expand your happiness. May you succeed in all your goals.